sharing the lead in the championship is just where we want to be.
It's time for all the championship contenders to make a move. And what a rally to try and do it in. Round 6 of the 2010 Sasol South African Rally Championship is probably the most feared event of all, as it is contested on the public gravel roads around the town of Berkeley East in the northern parts of the Eastern Cape. Berkeley East is situated at nearly 2,000 meters above sea level in the southern Drakensberg Mountains, and the route traverses high-speed, sweeping gravel mountain passes with fearsome drops and stunning scenery. But SA's finest rally drivers will have no time to admire the views. This is the fearsome Osram Rally. The Osram Rally was formerly known as the Mountain Trial, and with good reason. While the event is based at the Berkeley East Country Club, crews will have to tackle a series of mountain passes spread out across a wide area that stretches from Lady Grey in the west to Rhodes in the east. What makes the Osram even more unique is the fact that unlike any other event, this one takes place in one single day, making it a mad dash to the line. Earlier in the season, Toyota's Johnny Gemmell looked down and out, but the East Rand businessman fought his way to the top of the standings, courtesy of 2 successive wins.
Yeah, we're right back in with a chance now with those 2 wins, eh? So we're tied with Enzo and 3 events to go, and this one's a nice one, so we'll try and give it a go in this one.
Enzo Kuhn occupied the top position on the standings board for most of the season, and although he still shares that position, the momentum has maybe shifted Gemmell's way.
I wouldn't say yet, just yet. We'll see after this event. I think this is the decider, and we head on head at the moment, and this event will make the difference. So from here on, every point counts. I think it's important to finish. We have to bank points, but we also have to make a gap on Johnny.
Jan Habig is 16 points adrift, and with a victory worth 25 points, the multiple champion is still in with a shot to add a 7th title to his name.
Yeah, I think it's this event will be quite critical as far as the championship points are concerned. Got to make sure we get a lot of them.
Mark Rooney has been extremely quick in the Osram's mountains, but will he be expected to support teammate Gemmell's title aspirations?
Look, I think the most important thing for us is to get Johnny to win the title. So for me, it would be to help Johnny as far as I can. But in saying that, you know, I'd like to give it a good go.
3 consecutive non-finishers have put an end to Hergen Fecken's quest to record a 3rd successive title. So what's left for the defending champion?
Yeah, look, I think the championship, mathematically we're still in with a chance, but I think realistically we're not there. So we're going to push hard and try and get as many of the opposition behind us and help Enzo a bit. I think that's the plan.
The feature this year has been the rivalry between Fecken and Conrad Rotenbach. These 2 have been the fastest drivers all year, but their flat-out approach have resulted in a number of non-finishers.
Yeah, exactly. We've been finding our feet a bit this year, and I think we've proved we've got the speed, but now we just got to prove that we can finish the rallies and put it all together.
A host of privateers have their sights on a podium place headed by Hein Lateghan in the Pertec Toyota Auris, who ran the last 2 events as high as 2nd overall until crashing out.
Yeah, I think it's a learning curve. I'm getting faster and faster, but I'm also falling off the road, you know, so this event we'll probably try and get a finish for a change.
Charles Wilkin is slowly getting to grips with his Basil Reed Bizhub Ford Fiesta S2000 after a torrid start to the season, and he recorded his first finish on the VW Rally. Team Total's Fernando Roida will miss the Osram Rally, but Jean-Pierre Damso is in a handy 7th on the leader log and is a good bet for results in the bottom half of the top 10, as is the 2nd Pertec Toyota Auris of Visser du Plessis. Jaapie van Niekerk has an ex-factory Toyota Auris at his disposal and will hope to turn his season around, starting with the Osram Rally. Volkswagen's privateer teams are headed by Nicholas Ryan and Namibian Jaco van Dijk, while Evan Hutchison and Mokopane-based Thien Subad both have 3 finishes each so far. Rounding out the 17-strong S2000 entry is Mohamed Musa in another Team Total Toyota Runex. For 2010, a seeding system similar to a handicap in golf decides the starting order. Recent speed is the determining factor, and fastest goes first. Defending champions Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris will have the honour or disadvantage of sweeping the road ahead of BP Ultimate teammate Enzo Kuhn and the 3rd Volkswagen driven by Jan Habig. The Fiesta of Rotenbach starts fourth, followed by the Castrol Toyota duo of championship co-leader Johnny Gemmell and teammate Mark Cronier. Osram action will be fast and furious, as the teams only have 7 gravel stages spread out across the southern Drakensberg Mountains to make their mark before returning to the town of Berkeley East. As is the case on most events nowadays, the crews will have to tackle 2 successive stages each time before having the luxury of a visit to the service park. And at 30 kilometers, stage 1 or Boksbreed is not the easiest of ways to get into the swing of things.
One, go. 110, crest, right 1.
The fight for the coveted Osram King of the Mountains title gets underway with a BP Ultimate Polo of Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aries. The defending champions are sweeping the road clear of loose little stones, so their time of 15 minutes and 28 seconds over the 30-kilometer stage is a fast one.
Long left 5, tightens to 7 down, no cut, tightens on exit, into right 4, and crest right 7, no cut, 100 crest mid, and right 1, and care left 2.
I must say, we're sweeping today. It's really slippery, you know. There are tracks of normal road-going traffic, but it's obviously not on our line, so we cross it all the time. Very difficult, it's very slippery.
Second on the road is not much better, but BP Ultimate teammates Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson are in a fight for overall championship honours. In such a situation, you can either opt for a safe approach or go for the win. Keane chose the latter and completed the stage 1.6 seconds faster than Fekken.
Care, left 7 is right 8. 150, right 6. Hairpin, right, now right 8. Opens. 150, right 6, into cut, left 7.
I got a bit of a holiday on this event. Very nice, not to sweep. Been doing that all year, so it's great.
Third on the road and the third BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig. Regular navigator Rolf Pitchford was away doing testing for the next Dakar rally, so it was up to Habig's longtime partner Douglas Judd to slide back into the left seat. The pair didn't take long to get reacquainted.
We made a tyre choice of wider tyres, which we thought would give us a bit more grip. But I think it's not quite the right choice for the road position, so we'll change it now.
Much is expected of Zimbabwean Conrad Rotenbach with Peter Marsh on the hot seat of the Ford Fiesta. But 2010 is the youngster's first visit to the Osrams Mountains. His time of 15 minutes and 36 seconds is the third fastest so far, just a tenth of a second faster than Habig's time.
And need 6 right plus in and bump onto bridge, step down and long open, 4 right plus 70. Late 3 left plus in, continues long.
We went too low with the setup, so it was just riding on the sump card the whole time. We did a few clicks to the suspension in this one to try to help it, but it doesn't really help much.
BP Volkswagen had already played their first cards, so it is now time for Castrol Toyota to show theirs. Mark Cronier and Robert Paisley normally enjoy these mountains, but the Castrol Toyota Auris arrived at the end nearly 4 minutes later than what they should have.
Yeah, we had a troublesome first start in first stage. We had a rock lying right in the grass, but sort of obscured, so we ran a little bit wide and I didn't think anything of it. But it clipped the rim. It hit the rim. It didn't hit the tire. It hit the rim, and the rim just gave way. So it's confidence all gone.
With Cronier's early setback, Castrol Toyota is on the back foot. And it was about to get worse. Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock were both feeling ill. And to make matters even worse, the Aurus picked up a puncture with 12 stage kilometers to go, costing them around 25 seconds and dropping them down the leaderboard.
Fog is your right slight then.
Yeah, it was going all right, then we had a flat, and then 12 Ks with a flat, so that was it. Lost 20 or 30 seconds, yeah.
Next on the road, the Pertec Toyota Aurus of Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe. Lategan is one of the stars of the season so far, but he was still suffering from an injured hand following an accident on the previous round. Setting the 6th fastest time on stage 1 was therefore another solid performance. Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich had high hopes of turning their nightmare season around here in the mountains. After missing most of the 2010 season, the Basil Reed Bizarre Ford Fiesta was setting a good pace through Boksprey, but bad luck was once again waiting around the next corner.
Opens over rough here. And K.A. Crest is left 6, tightens a little, is Crest right 8. The Crest right 8 opens, C150. Go! What the was that? Rock, go right 6, no cut.
Yeah, unfortunately, about 3 or 4 Ks into the first stage, we hit a rock around a corner that was sort of lying in the middle of the road, and I couldn't miss it, and that broke the oil cooler. So
the team total Toyota Runex of JP Damso and Callan Swan is the next car on the road. Damso wasn't willing to take any chances so early on and opted for a safe approach.
Stage 1, we weren't committed enough. Lost a lot of time there.
Visser du Plessis and Gerard Snyman had a slow start to the 2010 season, but the former production car champion set the 5th fastest time of all on stage 1. The Pertec Toyota Aurus driver's best performance so far. The C-Track New Africa Developments Toyota Aurus of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton is also experiencing a nightmare season following a string of non-finishes so far. Van Niekerk was hoping to turn it around here in the mountains and started well with a 7th fastest time.
Right 8. Double caution, crest middle, double caution, left 1, hairpin right 8. Left 1 here first, hairpin right 8, hairpin right 8. Into right 4. Right 4. Into left 4.
Nicholas Ryan and new navigator Armand de Tooy opened their Osram Rally account with a fine 8th fastest time behind the wheel of the Johns Way Volkswagen Polo on stage 1.
A perfect start for championship contender Enzo Kuhn with teammate Hergen Fecken hot on his heels. Rodenbach completes his first ever Osram stage in 3rd, while the leading Toyota is the privateer version driven by Visser du Plessis. Castrol Toyota have it all to do with Gemmell down in 10th, a full 30 seconds behind his championship rival. The Osram Rally continues after the break, when SA's top gravel road racers come face to face with the mountain stages, where danger lurks around every day of the feared Osram Rally deep in the southern Drakensberg Mountains around the town of Berkeley East. The crews have only completed 1 stage, and already the mountains have claimed a number of victims. Charles Wilken retired the Basil Reed Bizarre Ford Fiesta after hitting a rock. Marc Renier had to stop and change a wheel. And Castrol Toyota teammate Johnny Gemmell is way down in 10th as a result of a puncture. At 17 kilometers, stage 2 through Bottleneck is somewhat shorter than stage 1, but just as demanding. It winds its way through more mountains and valleys, leaving the drivers with no room for error.
Without any chance to service the cars after stage 1, it was straight into stage 2 for Hergen Fecken and Pierre Arries. The BP Ultimate Polo found the going slippery, but still set a time of 10 minutes and 24 seconds. As the first car on the road, they would have to wait and see if this time was fast or not.
Right 8, keeping over rough here into long. Left 3, tightens to 6. No cut, opens. And danger jump, crest. Left 2, tightens to 6 over rough. Tightens to 6 over rough.
Rally leaders Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson were the next ones into Bottleneck. Kuhn blitzed through in a time of 10 minutes and 28 seconds, 4 seconds slower than his BP Ultimate teammate, but Kuhn wasn't unhappy about it.
Happy out there, hard work, beautiful road.
It's the first time since the end of the 2009 season that Douglas Judd occupied the right seat of the Jan Habig BP Polo. But Judd needed no time to get used to the speed of the Osram. Habig set the 4th fastest stage time. Every stage on the Osram is new to Conrad Rautenbach and his Ford Fiesta. Experience counts for a lot in these mountains, and although his time was 5th fastest, Rautenbach and Peter Marsh were still finding their feet.
Loose long, 3 left camber, 30. Neat 4 left into, late, 2 right long, into, left over crest, tightens 3 plus is king right over crest.
Mark Ronier and Robert Paisley had it all to do. The Castrol Toyota driver lost nearly 4 minutes in stage 1. It was now the comeback trail. They completed stage 2 with the 6th fastest time, but lost another 16 seconds to the leaders. Johnny Gemmell and Scottish navigator Drew Starrock were both still feeling ill and enjoyed having to sleep the night before. But the Castrol Toyota driver fought bravely to set the 3rd fastest time of all. It was also good enough to propel him from 10th overall all the way up to 5th.
Hard fast break. Hard easy lash. Watch 30.
After 2 crashes on the 2 previous events, Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe were cautious in these mountains. The Pertec Toyota orders still set the 7th fastest time to consolidate their 6th position overall.
We were a bit cautious here. I think I'm trying to get to the finish hopefully. I think we lost a little bit of time.
It was also a good start for the Johns Way Polo of Nicholas Ryan and Armand de Tooy, who equaled Latergan's time through stage 2 down to every 10th of a second.
To have a new navigator this rally is quite trying, but he did fantastic. He really did well.
Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton are still in the middle of a nightmare season. The Seatrack New Africa Development's Toyota driver is normally one of the most consistent, but recently van Niekerk has struggled to get through the early stages. Although van Niekerk completed stage 2, his rally ended prematurely.
We came around the right 7 crest caution bump, and the right 7 caution crest was fine, but the bump just threw us out a little bit, and we're talking about millimeters, not centimeters here, and I caught the outside of an embankment, and that just sucked us in, and we ran, and I tried to keep it, and it got sucked in, and we rolled.
Team totals JP Damso and Caroline Swan were not taking any risks and completed stage 2 with a top 10 stage time. Jaco van Eyck and Des de Fortier have been improving on every event since the Namibians started competing on South African soil. But on stage 2, the entire rally fraternity got a reminder of just how dangerous this sport can be. Although Van Dijk was airlifted to hospital as a precaution, both driver and navigator escaped serious injury.
We were coming through a left one flat out, and then we took a double caution jump left 2 flat out, and it hit the bank and it went into a roll.
The Pertec Toyota orders of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman was the first car to arrive at the scene of the accident. Du Plessis stopped to help and was later awarded an accurate stage time thanks to new tracking devices fitted to each car. It was a good showing so far as he occupied 7th overall on the leaderboard. The 2010 Osram is Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee first outing in the mountains behind the wheel of the Motorrad S2000 Polo. Hutchison drove well to complete the early part of the event in a top 10 position.
Yeah, it's terrifying, you know, to try and get your rhythm going when you're up in those mountains and it's a 300-foot drop down the side and you're in 6th gear over a blind crest. It's a difficult thing to get right, you know, so there's a lot of commitment, and we sort of started getting it right, and then we saw Jaco, who's just rolled and rolled and rolled. So that's, you know, that's a real shot to the solar plexus. To try and get your rhythm again after that was quite difficult.
It was also Mohammed Musa and Grant Martin's first attempt at the Osram in an S2000. The Total Evolution Toyota Runnings suffered from a puncture on stage 2, but the Tanin businessman was still within striking distance of a top 10 placing. Musa completed stage 2 around 40 seconds ahead of the Salom Group polo of Tien Subert and Carl Peskin, which in Hubert's own words took way too long to get up to speed.
Hergenfecken takes over the lead from teammate Enzo Kuhn by a mere 2.6 seconds, while Jan Habich moves past the Fiesta of Rotenbach for a Volkswagen 1-2-3. Gemmel recovers well to move up 5 positions and into 5th, ahead of a very strong showing by Team Pertex Lateghan and Duplessis. Evan Hutchison rounds off the top 10. After 2 demanding stages in the mountains, the Osram Rally heads back to Barclay East for a welcome service break. It's a fantastic start for defending champion Hergenfecken, who manages to lead the event in spite of being the first car over the slippery gravel roads.
Yeah, we had a good start. You know, it's difficult to get your confidence back after you've had 3 non-finishes, so to push is slightly difficult.
Championship leader Enzo Kuhn is only a few seconds back, but his fight is not with his teammate.
There's only 1 second between me and Hergen, but that's not where the race lies, so I think we've got an eye on Johnny, and he's a bit further back. So, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing now.
Jan Habich completes an all-Volkswagen podium at this early stage of the rally, but the multiple champion wasn't yet satisfied with his speed.
Yeah, we had a bit of a ragged start, you know, we just can't get the flow right. We've got a traction problem at the back. The guys are working on it now, and hopefully that'll resolve it, and then we can get into a good flow and rhythm.
It's a tough start to the event for championship co-leader Johnny Gemmel, who had more than just the mountains to worry about.
No, we had a flat this morning in that first one, and then this one was okay, it was all right. But not feeling too well, I didn't sleep last night.
After losing nearly 4 minutes early on, Mark Ronier's dreams of winning the Osram were shattered.
I think this event, losing 3.5 minutes, it's a tall task. I think the only thing you can do is just hang in there and wait for everybody else's event to fall apart, and that's really all you can hope and pray for.
The 2010 Osram Rally is now well underway, and after the opening 2 stages, it's time to tackle stages 3 and 4. Stage 3 is a tricky 31-kilometre affair at Clanville, but times are expected to be in the region of around 15 minutes, which means an average speed of well over 120 kilometres per hour. Stage 4 was to follow immediately after Clanville, and although it's much shorter at only 14 kilometres, it is much more open and flowing, so the speeds should therefore be even faster.
So far, Hergenfecken and Pierre Arries have done incredibly well to lead the event while also fulfilling the role as road sweepers. The BP Ultimate Polo had a scary moment through stage 3 and set a time of 15 minutes and 10 seconds, but one got the feeling that this time would not be the fastest.
Narrow over bridge, right 6. Whoa, yes. Into left 5, easy, no cut, right 4.
Very slippery towards the end. The surface changed, and we had a very big moment at one of the bridges, but that was good.
Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson enter Clanville with a 2.6 second deficit. Anything faster than 15 minutes and 8 seconds will therefore be good enough to take the lead. Kuhn was indeed faster, but not fast enough. Fecken remains in the lead by a slender 1.7 seconds.
I'm quite happy in second. The car feels good, and no deliveries good today. Hodgson's doing his job.
With a gap of nearly 19 seconds, Jan Habich and Douglas Judd are too far back to influence the overall leaderboard on just one stage. But Habich doesn't care about the maths and crosses the line in 15 minutes and 8.1 seconds, more than a second faster than his teammate and the fastest time so far.
This is a bit better than the previous stages, but then I twisted my arm in one of the corners, and like it almost feels like a bit dislocated, but it's yeah, it's okay.
Next up, the Ford Fiesta of Conrad Rautenbach and Peter Marsh. Rautenbach has Habib in sight and needs to beat him by more than 3.2 seconds.
And flying finish.
The Zimbabwean is fast and beats Habib's time by 1.4 seconds, but it's not enough, and he remains in 4th overall, now just 1.8 seconds behind Habib in 3rd.
Yeah, we made a few changes. The car feels quite good, but a stage like that where everything's flat out, it's hard to make up time, everyone's flat.
While Rautenbach and the trio of Volkswagens were battling it out at the top of the leaderboard, Mark Ronier and Robert Paisley were staging a comeback in the Castrol Toyota Auris by winning the stage. Ronier's stage win, however, was not enough to turn Castrol Toyota's luck around. Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock were not only feeling ill, but the Auris developed a nagging misfire that cost him a further 40 seconds. With only 1.7 seconds between 1st and 2nd position and 1.8 seconds between 3rd and 4th, the battle resumed on the fast and flowing gravel road of stage 4. Hergen Fecken and Pierre Arries flew through the 14 kilometers of Faalhoek, but this time the roads were just a little too slippery as they caught out the double champion.
Very long, easy right 6. Over 200 opens.
This is the gap that Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson were waiting for. On the previous stage, Keane came close to taking the lead, but on stage 4, he was simply breathtaking as he not only won the stage, but finally managed to overhaul his teammates and claim 1st position. Jan Habig and Douglas Judd knew that they had a determined Conrad Rautenbach breathing down their tailpipes. So the 3rd of the BP Ultimate Polos also put the hammer down on stage 4. Their time was just 1.9 seconds slower than Keane's winning time. But what about Rautenbach? The Zimbabweans used every inch of the road in their quest to overtake Habig, but it just wasn't enough. The Fiesta completed Faalhoek in a time just 0.7 seconds slower than their rivals, but the gap between themselves in 4th and Habig in 3rd increased to 2.5 seconds.
Late 3 right plus. Continues and slide left over Max Crest. 3 right.
Another fast and competitive time by Mark Ronier and Robert Paisley saw them crawl their way back up the leaderboard, but they still found themselves down in 12th overall. Inside the 2nd of the 2 Castrol Toyota Aurises, the roller coaster ride continued for Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock, who was still suffering from that power-sapping misfire. Gemmel lost another 30 seconds to the leaders and plummeted down the leaderboard to 7th position overall.
Yeah, we're losing a bit of power there. We can't do much about that.
Misfire?
Yeah, something's wrong there. Seen out service.
Behind the top 4, the Pertic Toyota Auris of Hein Latergan and Jan van der Merwe was making its mark. Latergan was still driving with an injured hand, but it didn't show as he made 5th position his own after this demanding loop of stages. What's more is that the Pertic Auris was now the leading Toyota in the field. And it was getting even better for the Pertic Toyota squad. Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman were quick to capitalize on Gemmel's misfortunes, and 2 consistently quick times through stages 3 and 4 saw them climb past Gemmel and into 6th position. This was also Du Plessis' best performance since moving to the Premier S2000 class. The Johns Way Volkswagen Polo of Nicholas Ryan and Armand de Tooy was in a strong 8th position at the start of these 2 stages. But Ryan hit a rock in stage 3 which damaged the suspension. With no chance to repair the problem, the damage was carried into stage 4, resulting in a loss of around 4 full minutes. This allowed the first of the Team Total Evolution Toyotas to climb a position on the overall standings. Jean-Pierre Damso and Catalin Swan are still in with a chance to win the inaugural Privateers Championship, so a points finish was a must for the Cape Townian. Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin were starting to overcome their fear of the mountains. The Total Evolution Rising Stars are competing in these mountains for the first time since moving up to the top S2000 class and set top 10 times on both stages 3 and 4 to move into 9th position overall. Multiple off-road racing champion Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee were now also learning the ropes of S2000 rallying in these mountains. The Motorrad Polo picked up a puncture 10 kilometers into the long stage 3. The flapping tyre damaged the power steering and resulted in more time lost during stage 4, but they were still hanging on to the top 10.
The names Fecken and Kuhn swap places at the top of the leaderboard, while Habich remains ahead of Rotenbach, but only by 1.7 seconds. Gemmel slips 2 places, allowing Pertek teammates Latergan and Duplessis into 5th and 6th, respectively. Damso, Musa and Hutchison round off the top 10. The fast and sweeping mountain roads of the Osram have already claimed a number of victims, while also playing host to a fantastic battle at the front of the field. Will Kuhn be able to fend off his teammate over the final few stages? And how important will this result be as far as the overall championship fight between Kuhn and Gemmel is concerned? The answer after the break.
It beats in each of us, the pulse of national pride. It makes us great, but it also makes us different. Now our African hearts must beat as one. Africa's finest athletes join forces against 3 continents. The ultimate superpower will be revealed in the IAAF Continental Cup, live and exclusive to your world of champions. Powered by Engine from start to finish.
Only a few fast and furious stages remain in the 2010 Osram Rally. The same stages that stand between the top contenders and the crown that will be presented to the Osram King of the Mountains. Back in Berkeley East, crews are preparing for the signature stage of the event, and probably the stage that will decide the outcome. With 2 cars inside the top 6, the Osram is proving to be a very successful outing for the Pertek team of both Hein Latergan and Visser Duplessis.
It's a very difficult event. I must tell you the difference between a big accident and going well is extremely close. But Team Pertek, we are at this stage, I think the top running privateer team, 5th and 6th, and Hein and myself are very close.
Johnny Gemmel is currently struggling down in 7th, and with his championship rival leading the rally, this is not what the Castrol Toyota driver needed. Conrad Rotenbach is 4th, but has his sights firmly set on the 3 Volkswagens ahead of him.
Yeah, the 3 VWs are going really hard, so it's really nice stages, but they're so fast it's hard to make up time, you know, just flat out everywhere.
The organisers decided to have a regroup at this point, meaning that the order on the road for the remaining stages will be the same as the standings after stage 4. Teammates Enzo Kuhn and Hergen Fecken have swapped the lead on more than one occasion this morning, and since Kuhn is the current leader, he'll take over the road sweeping duties for the rest of the day.
No, it's he that made a mistake, so now I'm leading, so now he's waiting for me to slide off the road.
Now I've been sweeping the whole day. I'm going to give him a chance to be the broom.
This is War Trail, and as its name suggests, Stage 5 will also be the scene of the toughest rally battle yet. At 43 kilometers, War Trail combines fast and open sections with tighter and more technical corners. It's difficult to find a good rhythm, and as with any other stage on the Osram, War Trail leaves you with 0 margin for error.
After the regroup in Berkeley East, it was now up to Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson to sweep the road. It's something that no driver wants to do, as it is not only more slippery, but there are no lines or brake markers to follow. But this is something that Enzo Kuhn has done many times in the past, and his time of 21 minutes and 50 seconds over the nearly 44 kilometers was fast.
Open 70, left 7, into open right 7, and crest is right 1, into left 6, no cut.
Difficult stage. We're left rear, there's something wrong on the left rear. I think the tyre's flat, or there's a 8-year-old bar broken, so difficult driving, but we got through clean.
But it was still impossible to know exactly how fast Kuhn's time was until there was another time set to compare it to. The next car was none other than the BP Ultimate Polo of teammates Hergen Fecken and Pierre Arries. Ficken looked fast as always, but 22 minutes and 3 seconds was a full 13 seconds slower than the time set by Keane.
And hairpin right tightens. Into left 6, keep in. And right 5, keep in.
Yeah, we had a pretty keen stage. Very quickly towards the end. I don't know. We had a good stage, I think.
Jan Habig and Douglas Judd provided another exhibition of perfect car control in the third of the BP Polos. But Habig could only record a time of 22 minutes and 15 seconds, a full 25 seconds slower than rally leader Keane's time. Over the years, War Trail has proved to be a real test for both man and machine. This was the first time that Conrad Rautenbach would have seen these roads, but with the help of Peter Marsh, Rautenbach negotiated War Trail in exactly the same time as Ficken, down to every tenth of a second. But it was still 13 seconds off the pace set by Keane. But more importantly for the young Zimbabwean, it was fast enough to overall Habig and move into the top 3.
50, loosely 2 left, long and 1 right plus, tightens.
Was it not for their earlier mishap, Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley would have been in contention as they again set a very competitive stage time. 20 minutes and 3.2 seconds was a half a second faster than both Ficken and Rautenbach, but could have and would have means nothing in the relentless world of rally. The Osram was in fact turning into a day of what could have been for Castrol Toyota. The hour-long break in Berkeley East was obviously what Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock needed as they went into War Trail with all guns blazing. Gemmell was feeling a lot better and the misfire under the bonnet of the Castrol Toyota Horus disappeared, allowing Gemmell to win the stage by a rather large margin of a full 11 seconds, enough to rocket him up the leaderboard from 7th up to 5th.
100. To Max, right, 80. Bridge.
Team Pertek's run of good form continued on War Trail with Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe and the second Pertek orders of Visser du Plessis and Gerard Snyman setting the 7th and 8th fastest times respectively. Both of them, however, had no choice but to each concede a position to the Flying Gemmell, but it was still a good performance. The time set by JP Damso and Callan Swan in the Total Evolution Toyota Runex was just outside the top 10 on this stage, but still good enough to maintain their 8th position overall. The second of the Total Evolution Toyotas, driven by Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin, managed to set the 9th fastest time on War Trail. 9th on the stage was also good enough for 9th overall, just 20 seconds behind teammate Damso. Rounding off the top 10 on War Trail was the Boatright polo of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee.
Kuhn extends his lead at the top of the leaderboard while Rautenbach and Habig swap places in 3rd and 4th. Gemmell's giant killing stage performance moves him up 2 places ahead of Latergan and du Plessis. Damso and Musa occupy positions inside the top 10 ahead of a recovering Cronje. Stage 6 is another Osram Rally Classic. Due to safety reasons, Nest Kloof is somewhat shorter this year compared to previous years, but to race through this valley at stage-winning pace is still a daunting task. Osram Rally proceedings will come to an end with Farluk 2, an exact repeat of stage 4 from earlier in the day, and once again both stages will have to be negotiated without the opportunity to service the cars in between.
At such a late stage of any event, drivers are either fighting for a better position or protecting the current one. Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee had no choice but to settle for a disappointing 12th position overall behind the wheel of the Motorrad S2000 Polo. It was even a more miserable weekend for Castrol Toyota's Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley, who were forced to settle for a disappointing 11th position overall. Cronje had competitive pace all day, but with Sasol South African rallying as competitive as it is, losing 4 minutes early on was always going to be too much. With no less than 16 S2000 machines starting a round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship, a top 10 finish is nothing to be sneezed at, especially if it's your first attempt at the Osram Rally and its dangerous mountains behind the wheel of an S2000. This is exactly what Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin achieved in their Total Evolution Toyota Runnings. As far as their standards are concerned, Tiens Joubert and Cole Peskin had a relatively quiet day behind the wheel of the Salom Group Volkswagen Polo. Joubert quietly sneaked his way into the top 10 to finish 9th, just 10 seconds ahead of Musa. Jean-Pierre Damso and Caroline Swan were hoping for a better finish, but the Total Evolution Toyota Run-X was plagued by misfire for most of the day. It slowed them down somewhat, but 8th overall was a good enough result to still keep their hopes alive of claiming the inaugural championship for Private Fiat. Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman have finished much higher than 7th overall before, but that was long before the days of 16 S2000 rally cars. Du Plessis' season so far has been filled with all sorts of drama, but the Pertic Toyota driver and his Aurus finally came together for a very respectable 7th placed finish, a result that will give him loads of confidence for the remaining 2 events of the season. It was a great event for the Pertic team, with Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe claiming 6th position overall. Lategan has taken to the S2000 class like a duck to water, and it is only a matter of time before he will be a real force to be reckoned with when it comes to fighting for overall victories.
No less than 16 Premier S2000 rally teams made the long journey to Berkeley East for the Osram Rally. But besides the expensive S2000s, a further 14 crews also joined the action. There's no better place to hone your driving skills than in these mountains. And with a number of individual class championships still at stake, the action further down the field was just as furious.
Class A7 is South Africa's top class for front-wheel drive rally cars. An A7 boasts a 2-litre engine just like an S2000, but with slightly less power and a sequential gearbox. It is basically the last stepping stone before reaching the big time, and currently the home of Gugu Zulu and Cindy Harding in a BP Ultimate Volkswagen Polo, the rally newcomers Gavin Cronje and Van Aert Schoeman in a Seasons for Africa Volkswagen Polo, and former class champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis in an Automark Toyota Run-X. Gavin Cronje is an experienced and multiple champion circuit racer, but for 2010, the Le Mans Cup champion decided to swap his racing slicks for dirt tires, just like his brother Mark did a few years ago. Cronje has had an eventful season so far and showed good pace, but a lack of experience of the Osram Rally Mountains did not allow him to challenge for the class victory. Gugu Zulu and Cindy Harding have both seen these mountains before. Zulu is a multiple Class A5 champion, and although Cronje put up a valiant fight, Zulu was dominant on 3 stages compared to Cronje's 1-stage win, and managed to clinch yet another Class A7 win. Former Class A7 champions Chris de Wit and Dean Redlinghuis have missed a few events during 2010, which means that they have little chance to fight for another title. But thanks to sponsors Automark, the rally veteran was back on the stages. De Wit was a bit rusty, but still survived the mountains for 3rd in Class A7. Nelspruit brothers US and Donnie Stassen were the only ones in Class N4 to make the long journey to Berkeley East. No surprise then that they managed to win the class, but to win, you first have to finish. It was the 3rd successive Class N4 victory for the Top Gear Motors Subaru, and enough to clinch the Class N4 title with 2 rounds of the championship still remaining. Class A6 is for 1600 front-wheel drive rally cars. Leroy Poulter is another successful circuit racer who switched to dirt, and his debut here in the Sasol South African Rally Championship has been nothing short of impressive. Together with experienced navigator Henry Dearlove, the Imperial Toyota Run-X driver romped away with yet another class win, clinching the Class A6 title in the process. What's even more impressive is that the Imperial Toyota Run-X was the first 2-wheel drive car home, ahead of the more powerful Class A7 cars. Class veteran Craig Trott and Robbie Kutsia claimed 2nd in Class A6 in the Total Evolution Toyota Run-X. Class A5 is the point of entry into the adrenaline-filled world of rally. It is therefore also the place where future champions start their long journey to the top. One such future champion is youngster Ashley Haig-Smith. Together with navigator Hilton Orfrey, the Team React Toyota Yaris driver became the youngest ever class champion in South African rallying history. A bright future awaits the 18-year-old Cape Townian, who only received his driver's license a few days before the event. Fellow Class A5 competitors Morna Jansen van Rensburg and Derek Jacobs endured bad luck from the start and were forced to settle for second in class. And who said rallying is a man's game? Class N3 for near standard production cars has become a battle between two competitors of the fairer sex. Megan and Oliver Verlag managed to take the class win in their Toyota Runnix after a solid drive in trying conditions. But they were pushed all the way by the daughter and father pairing of Stefanie and Willem Hichu in the Wiel magazine Runnix. Hichu recently received some training at the Rally Star Academy in Gauteng, and it is starting to show as she is becoming a real force to be reckoned with. The Link Africa Ford Fiesta of Robson Maganesi and Sean Visser completed the Class N3 podium.
Only two relatively short stages remain in the 2010 Osram Rally, but these two stages will determine who the king of the mountains will be. Johnny Gemmell was the winner here in 2009, but the championship contender is having a nightmare of an event and will have to try and limit the damage to his title aspirations over the final two stages.
Yeah, we had our problem this morning with a flat, and then we had a misfire, dropped us down to 7th. Now we're back to 5th, so I think we can stay there. It'll be pretty good for the points.
Conrad Rotenbach managed to overhaul one of the VP Volkswagens, but is running out of stage time to move further up the leaderboard.
Yeah, just one. Still got 2 to go, but it's running out of time and K's. Yeah, there's only 2 short stages and then super special, so it's going to be difficult now.
With Gemmell down in 5th, Enzo Kuhn will make a massive leap towards winning his second national rally title if he can stay in front over the last 2 stages.
Yes, I'm getting quite nervous towards the end here. I think the day's gone good for us so far because Johnny's obviously picked up some problems with his car, and Volkswagen Polo is running faultlessly, so I've got a very good car.
Into the breach once more go Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock. The Castrol Toyota Aurus driver is still in 5th position and more than 40 seconds behind Habich's 4th. But Gemmell isn't someone who gives up and completed the tricky Yinningnes Kloof in 8 minutes and 43 seconds.
And back left plus, opens over crest long. 58 to crest is medium left.
But Habich and Judd will not be caught off guard. The wily old fox knew that Gemmell was charging, but he in turn had his sights set on the 3rd place currently occupied by Conrad Rotenbach. Rotenbach started stage 6 with a 9-second gap over the multiple champion, but could only manage a time of 8 minutes and 44 seconds, 1 full second slower than Gemmell's time, but more importantly, 7 seconds slower than the time set by Habich. The gap between 3rd and 4th was now just 2 seconds with 1 stage to go. Gemmell fought bravely over the final few kilometers at Farlook, but he was forced to settle for 5th after a testing day filled with all sorts of trials and tribulations.
Flying finish. Okay.
Back to the fight between Rotenbach and Habich. With only 2 seconds separating the two, Habich has a sniff of another podium finish, but so does the young pretender behind the wheel of the Fiesta. Habich completes the final stage in a time of 6 minutes and 45 seconds. But will it be enough? No, because Conrad Rotenbach crosses the flying finish in a time of 6 minutes and 41 seconds to claim the final podium position. And what a drive from defending champions Hergen Fekken and Pierre Arries in the BP Ultimate Polo. Fekken has not finished an event since round 2 way back in March. A string of 3 consecutive non-finishes since then have surely brought him into his aspirations of winning a 3rd title on the trot. But a 2nd position here in the mountains is a great way to bounce back, especially considering that he had to sweep the road for most of the event.
C180. Left 8, keep in of a small bump.
But if Fecken's drive was a good one, the performance by Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson can only be described as fantastic. The win here in the mountains is the BP Volkswagen drivers' second victory of the season, and the 2 wins now also go with no less than 3 second places for a healthy lead on the championship points log. Keane is a stalwart on the South African rally scene, but only has 1 title back in 2006 to show for it. So the win here could go a long way in adding another.
Double caution, right 8 down, over the flying finish. Right 8 down. Okay, that'll do you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well done.
An emphatic victory for Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson, who edge out teammates Fecken and Aries by a full 23 seconds. Rautenbach ends third, less than 5 seconds ahead of Habich and Judd, while Johnny Gemmell put in a late charge to recover up to 5th. Pertek has 2 cars in the top 7, followed by Damso, Ubar and Musa, who round off the top 10. Spraying the champagne from any step of a national rally podium is a good result, especially if it's your first attempt at the Osram and its notorious mountain stages.
Yeah, third's okay. It was a very difficult rally, and those stages are really fast and slippery and that, so it's hard to commit fully the first time coming here, but no, it's a really nice stages and that had a lot of good fun.
Although champion Hergen Fecken is more used to winning, second was still a good result.
I'm quite happy, satisfied. I think we did what we came to do in any case. We wanted to help Enzo, so every car between him and his opposition helps. But Enzo had a good day, you know, we couldn't really catch him even if we tried.
And what a victory for Enzo Keane, who walks away not only with the Osram King of the Mountains crown, but also with a healthy championship lead.
Yeah, brilliant move for the championship. I think it's strengthened our position there a lot. But to win in the mountains as a driver is a special achievement. You know, among us we know it's really, you need nerves of steel here. You need to be confident, and you need to have a good heart when you come.
The entertainment